Today we're going to make a start on the internal drawer system, in particular the base of the drawer, which I've got right here. So you would have seen in yesterday's video I've got that cool little contraption where I can measure the internal dimension, the width between the drawer slides, and it worked out to 229 mils. So we're going to pretty much work on that today. My trusty old Milwaukee M18 circular saw, and I do have the battery removed this time. Thanks for pointing that out, guys. Although the Milwaukee saw, it's got quite a substantial thumb pressure trigger here that you have to press before you can press the actual trigger to make it go. So you have to press them down at the same time. But still, in saying that, I should remove the battery when I'm working on the tool, preparing the tool. So now we've got the Kreg Rip Cut. You would have seen this on earlier in the video, so we won't talk too much about this one. So what we're going to do now is mount this back onto here. As you recall, I've already got this already lined up, set up. Now I'm just going to go and grab a screwdriver. We want to make sure that this is set up correctly, because if it's not, well then we're going to have problems, aren't we? It's very critical that this is as accurate as possible, because we don't want any excessive pressure points put on the drawers. For example, wider than it should be, or wider in one spot, more narrow in another spot. So in order to make sure those drawers run smoothly, we have to make sure this measurement is spot on. We know we've got 229 mils. We're going to use a bit of scrap material, and we're going to set this, adjust this at the 229 mils, and then we're going to make a cut, and then we're going to measure that. If it's spot on 229, perfect, then we'll proceed to cut this timber. If it's not, then we've got to make the adjustments, and you can see it's got like a little guide here with that red line on there. I can move that left or right by how far the cut is out, and then that should give us a perfect 229. We'll do this one. Okay, what I've done, guys, is I've actually cut it. So I haven't checked it yet. So we've got 300. So we need to take a mil off. I just double checked. I slid this in between the drawer runners and it was a perfect fit, so I'm going to leave it at that. So now we're ready to cut this timber. I've got it all prepared. So what I've done is I've used a couple of scrap bit of ply underneath, and I've left the gap underneath so that the blade can go through. I've clamped it down as many places as I can, and now we're ready to cut. Oh, thank God it's not a hot day today. So, relatively small strip that we cut off today. Tell you what, I wish I had that dust extractor. Excellent. 30. The next thing we've got to do now is determine the length. I've determined that I need to make this cut 15 long. And how I came to that, I measured the length is 15/30. So that's the overall length I need to draw. But remember, I want to add the fascia, a nice front panel that covers the whole front. So I had to take 15 mils off of that in order to make up to that 15/30. Whereas that 15 mil front fascia, which I'll use one of these nice bits of timber here and put a nice clear varnish over the top. So I've already measured it, again safety. Just go sit this inside there and make sure it fits. I just went over to the drawer carcass and slid this in between the drawer runners, and I think it's a perfect fit. Next thing we can do now is to start to make the sides. Now you remember yesterday's video, I actually talked about, on the planning stage, I talked about how we're going to kind of bring it up straight and then bring it out on an angle and then up like so. So that way it kind of works around the drawer slide. So we'll get that 30 centimeter width on the inside. 30 centimeters, I'm quite happy about that. So that'll be 270, okay, on the bottom, the width. And then we'll come up about, I don't know how far, about so high. It's high enough so it clears the drawer runners. And then that'll bring it out to 330, I believe. So then take off 15 mils on either side again of that for the wall, for the side, and that'll give 300. It'll be the same footprint area as what this is, with an extra section on the bottom that's 27 wide. So that's quite a fair bit of storage space there really, which should be more than enough for what I want to use it for the kitchen utensils, etc. Such as the pots and pans and knives and forks, utensils, some of the tin food, my herbs and spices, etc. So that's basically, and maybe if possible, fit my little Origo stove in here as well. Let's get to measuring out this shorter section of this side wall, and then I think what we'll do then is mount that on, and then we can start figuring out how to mount the other section. I'm going to go a little bit higher than expected. When you think about it, the only purpose, the only gain that lip is going to give is for when I use my little drawer for utensil drawers or whatsoever. So that means the drawer that I'll have on the top will be internally 30 centimeters wide, and I think that'll be ideal. 13 centimeters, you've got to add the thickness of the actual bottom of the drawer, which is another 15 mil. So that'll bring it up to 14.5 mil. And then that'll give me a drawer depth, a top drawer depth, a tray depth about so high, thereabouts. I can work on that. I've set this on 13 centimeters. Got one more cut to do. Let's check and see how accurate we are with that. That's about 13.2, but that's alright, we can work on that. So now we need to cut them down to the right length. The drawer needs to be 1530 total in length. So remember, I want to do a nice fascia cover on the front. So I've got to take 15 mils off that. So that brings it down to 1515. I need to take off 15 mil for the piece of timber that goes on the end of the drawer. So that brings it down to 1500 long. So these pieces need to be 1500 long. I might call that, and I need to go clean up in here. There's a lot of sawdust in here. There is a little bit more cutting that needs to be done. I might take a break for today, or I might get back into it this afternoon, and I'll go in the house and edit this up for you guys. Once again guys, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'd really appreciate it if you do. It'll help my channel enormously. So look after yourself. Go camping, have fun, enjoy, cheers till next time. And put a like.